So I found a YouTube channel making $48,700 a month, and the whole thing is just AI images with a voiceover on top. So I gave myself a challenge. Could I recreate this entire channel using Claude Code? And not only did it work, but I built the whole thing, the niche, the idea, the title, the script, the visuals, in a few minutes. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how I did it step by step. And if you like this type of content and you want me to make more of it in the future, let me know by gently cheersing that like button, and let's jump into it right now. Okay, so first thing is you need Claude Code installed, right? So just go to claude.com, then click download desktop app. On the upper right part, there should be a download icon. So just click that, and Claude setup.exe should show up, and you just wanna double click that, right? Then follow the prompts and it should be installed. Now, before I show you how to create a channel that makes $48.7 thousand in a single month, let me show you the channel that I found. It's called Extinct Zoo, and it's making $48,700 every single month just from AdSense alone. And their videos are just AI images, AI clips put together, and then somebody narrating over the top. And in just 1 year of posting this exact type of video, and this channel pulled in 282.9 million total views and gained 1.4 million subscribers. So that's pretty nuts. And their most popular video got 14.3 million views and made around $20,000. And it's just a 22-minute video called The Only Time in History That Water Was Safer Than Land. And it has AI footage with a voiceover over the top. So I'll play just a very quick clip of this video so you can see what I mean. Yeah, so pretty good content, but also pretty simple. So let me show you how to build something like it. All right, so first thing we need to do is dial in the niche. So I type /niche finder, and I just tell it in plain English that I want to talk about the old animals that don't exist anymore. And while that's working, let me explain why this step is so important, because almost everyone gets it wrong. Every time I ask people in my live training what their niche is, I get the same answer. My niche is accounting, my niche is health, my niche is finance, my niche is gaming. 1 or 2 word answers, and that is exactly the problem. Now, the problem with that is not a niche. That is a category, right? It's way too broad. And trust me, I've heard this 1,000 times. So here's what you want to do instead. You need to know 2 things. 1, who you're trying to help, and 2, what you're trying to help them with. And it goes like this: I help X do Y, or I help X overcome Y. Or if you want to take it another step further, you could say I help X overcome Y by Z. So the Z is how you actually help them. And look, when you're just starting out, don't even worry about the Z part yet, right? Just nail the who and the what. So think about doctors, right? A regular family doctor makes a solid living, but a cardiologist makes way more. Why? Because a cardiologist helps a specific person, someone with a heart problem, for instance, fix a specific thing, their heart. Specific who and specific what. I'm a doctor is your 1-word niche, and it gets you lost in the crowd. I help people with heart problems fix their heart is what makes you the go-to expert that everyone with that exact problem comes running to. Now, it's gonna ask me a few questions to sharpen this. And by the way that I respond to this is I actually just use voice command. So you can type out the answers if you want, but I highly recommend just using voice command and literally just talking to it, because it's just way easier to communicate with AI if you do it that way. So first is, why is this topic for you? And I'm gonna say, it's a lifelong fascination for me. Second is fun or growth. Are you building this into a business that makes money? Yeah, I want to build this into a business that makes money. And third, who do you picture watching? Curious adults and kids too. And here's the thing. It asks you this stuff for a reason, right? It's not trying to be cute. It's pulling out 2 things that actually decide if a niche pays, who you're for, and how that audience makes you money. Now it's asking me more questions to make sure that it's giving me the right niche hypothesis statement. For instance, what am I actually good at? I'm good at writing, storytelling, and research. I like to research. How do I want the money to come in? AdSense plus low to mid-ticket offers. And if I had to pick one audience, I'll say adult content for now, because that's where the money is. And boom, it's gonna hand me 4 niche options. Number 1 is extinction mysteries, like true crime, but for animals. And the niche hypothesis statement is, I help curious adults uncover untold stories of how lost species really vanished. Number 2 is de-extinction. Can we bring them back? And it's flagging this one as the best for money, the best CPM. And the hypothesis statement is, I help science-curious adults understand whether we can and should bring extinct animals back to life. Number 3 is real monsters that actually existed. And the hypothesis statement is, I help curious adults discover the terrifyingly real animals that once ruled the earth. And number 4, we killed this one, literally, unfortunately. The hypothesis statement is, I help curious adults confront the animals that we drove extinct within living memory. So just as an example, we probably were responsible for driving woolly mammoths extinct, as well as saber-toothed tigers, as well as the short-faced bear. So yeah, but anyways, I'm gonna go with number 1. extinction mysteries. Now, by the way, if you're having trouble selecting your niche or you already have a niche, but it's not really dialed in, you're kind of confused about it, go ahead and click the link in the description in the pinned comment below to attend my live training, where we will be giving away a Claude AI skill that's designed to pick the ideal niche for you. And this has been trained on thousands of hours of us helping our community members pick their ideal YouTube niches. Hey, quick break. I'm going to be doing a live training this week on how to start a YouTube channel step-by-step for beginners. This is going to be for people who want to start a channel, but they don't know what niche to pick, what videos to make, or how to actually get started the right way. And it's a completely free training, no strings attached. In fact, I'm giving away even more bonuses at the training. So just as an example, I'm going to be giving away my niche validator. This is going to be available both for ChatGPT as well as Claude, which is a super valuable piece of software where you can finally figure out what the best niche for you is. So do not miss out on this training. Make sure you sign up for it down in the description and the pinned comment below, because you only get it if you join the training. So if you don't join now, you might miss it. But that being said, in the workshop, you'll get to meet me, and you'll get to ask me questions directly. So I look forward to seeing you in there. So click the link in the description and the pinned comment below, put it in your calendar. And if for whatever reason you missed out on it or you weren't able to attend, make sure you still click that link, because we might be having workshops in the future as well, and you'll be the first to know about it. So yeah, hope to see you there. And now back to your regularly scheduled content. All right, section number 4 is to find the video ideas. So now that the niche is locked in, we're gonna find the video ideas, right? So I'm gonna type in CGE video idea finder, and I'm gonna paste in my hypothesis statement. Now, while it researches, let me explain what's happening behind the scenes in this skill. This skill is using the method that I call the icon method. Sometimes I also refer to this as the hot dog method. And it's basically hunting for videos with 100K plus views from channels with under 100,000 subscribers with a minimum of a 5-to-1 views to subscriber ratio. And the packaging, the title, and the thumbnail should be weak or mediocre. Why? Because if a tiny channel with bad packaging is still pulling 100K plus views, it wasn't the brand or the editing that made the video blow up the idea. It's kind of like walking down a street and seeing a tiny restaurant that you've never heard of. No big name, no reputation, nobody walking about it, but there's a line out the door. That line tells you everything, because if people are showing up for a place that has no name and no hype, it's not the name that's pulling them in, it's probably the food inside. So the food is so good that people come anyways. So a small channel with 100K plus views is the exact same thing. Nobody knows the brand, so it's not the subscribers pulling those views, it's the idea, right? The idea is the food. And that's the 5-to-1 ratio at least, which is the line out the door. And look what it pulls, right? It's pulling live data straight from YouTube, real videos, real numbers right now. Okay, so the first video it finds is 66 million years ago, how dinosaurs became extinct. 100K views from a channel with barely 1,500 subscribers. That is a 74-to-1 ratio, and that is insane. Oh, and I kind of like this one as well. 7 last photos of extinct animals. All right, the next section is packaging of the idea. So I'm gonna have Claude Code do the holy trifecta on this one. So let me just type in /CGE holy trifecta, and then I'm gonna choose this. Then I'm just gonna say, do the last photos just like what you said. Now, by the way, all of the Claude skills you're gonna need for this video are available by clicking the link in the description in the pinned comment below. It should be the 3rd link down there. Okay, so all the Claude skills that you're gonna need in this video to actually do this are gonna be available down there. So just click that. Now, while the holy trifecta is cooking, let me tell you what it actually does and why you need it. So the holy trifecta is your title, your thumbnail, and your intro, and you've gotta make sure all 3 are congruent with each other. And here's what I mean by that. You can have the most perfect thumbnail in the world, right? It can be a 10 out of 10 thumbnail. But if it doesn't tell the same story, if it doesn't point in the same direction as the title, people won't click it. And if it does point in the same direction as the title, but the intro doesn't match, then people will just click off the video after they've already clicked in. Because they're not clicking the thumbnail on its own, they click it because it's showing them the idea of the title. And remember, the idea does the heavy lifting. And then if the intro doesn't deliver that same message, they're just gonna click off right away. So the title and the thumbnail get the click, but the intro keeps them there. And all 3 have to say the same thing. All 3 of them need to be pointing in the right direction, right? You can have a title, a thumbnail, and an intro that are an 8 out of 10. They're okay, but they're not the best in the world, but they all point in the same direction. And that will beat a title, thumbnail, and intro that are 10 out of 10, but they point in different directions every single time. Think about walking up to a pizza restaurant, right? The sign out front says pizza. The window shows hot, fresh pizza. So you walk over and you step through the door and it smells like pizza. Every signal matches. So you trust it, you sit down, and you stay. Now flip it. The sign says pizza, the windows are full of tacos, and you walk in and it's a sushi bar. You might like pizza, tacos, and sushi, but the expectation that they set is different than the reality, right? So you're gonna freeze, you're gonna get confused, and you're probably gonna walk right back out. So the sign is your title, the window is your thumbnail, and walking through the door is your intro. All three have to say pizza or people are just gonna turn around and leave. Okay, so it's done now and it's immediately handing me the whole package, right? So it's suggesting me the title, the last photo of these extinct animals will haunt you. It's giving me a simple description of the thumbnail, what text to put on, and the expression of the face if you want to do a face. And it also gives me 5 intros to choose from. So the next section is to write the script. So I'm just gonna type / and then I'm gonna choose YouTube scriptwriter skill, and then I'm gonna type go write the script now. Now, while it writes, let me show you how I actually script my videos, because most people do this the hard way. Most people sit down and they try to type out a perfect script word by word, and that is a huge mistake for 2 reasons, right? 1, it is painfully slow, and 2, it comes out as stiff. It reads like an essay, not like a real person talking. So here's what I do instead. I do what I call a yap session. And that is where I hit record. Again, I like to talk to AI. I almost never type to it unless it's just a few words. And I just do it off the top of my head like I'm explaining the topic to a buddy who just asked me about it. No script, no pressure, just talking. Then I take that recording and I hand it to Claude, and Claude turns my messy rambling into a clean, structured script, without stripping away the way that I actually talk. I bring the personality, but Claude brings the structure. Think about the difference between how you talk and how you write. When you're explaining something to a friend over beer, you're loose, you've got energy, you sound like a real human being. But the second you sit down to write that same thing as a formal paper, you stiffen up and suddenly you sound like a textbook that nobody wants to read, right? So it's the same person, same information, but one of them sounds alive and it's just way more engaging, and the other sounds dead. So the yap session captures the alive version of you, and Claude just cleans it up and organizes it. And then there it is. And there it is. It gives me the outline first, and then a full word for word script. And it even tells me what to show on the screen at each part. Now, some people like to record just with the outline alone, and they kind of just like to talk off the top of their head. Others like to record with the script itself, but I just have it automatically generate both. All right, so the next thing I want Claude Code to do is to create the images that I need for the video. So I just type from that script, create the images for the video. And it is pumping out images one by one. And wait, it actually made a short clip. Look at that. Absolutely crazy. And you can just pull all of this into your YouTube editing app. So we like to use Descript, especially for beginners. It is a phenomenal editing app, but you can use anything that you want. Now, the next thing you need to do is add a voiceover to your video. Now, I would lean away from AI generated voices because a ton of people are getting their channels banned or demonetized right now because of AI voiceovers, and I don't want that happening to you. So I recommend narrating it yourself. Just use your own voice. And you know that feeling when you pick up the phone and it's a robocall? You can tell in a half second if it's fake and you just hang up. But if somebody calls you and they're a real person, you're way more likely to actually talk with them. An AI voiceover does the same thing to your viewer. Something just feels off, right? They don't trust it, even if it's a really good one. They end up bouncing. But your real voice, even if it's not perfect, is what makes people stay. All right, same rule for editing. Do not let AI edit the whole video for you. The second you let AI do everything, the voice, the edit, all of it, the video comes off so bad that people can spot that it's AI instantly, and so can YouTube. But Shane, I don't want to edit videos for like 80 hours. Well, I would recommend that you use a tool like Descript, like I said, especially if you're a beginner, because it does have some AI editing features that are extremely useful, and it's actually pretty good. It's the best AI editor that we have tested out to date. So you drop in all the images that Claude made, you narrate over them, and then you use Descript to edit. You cut the dead air, you trim the junk words, and you're done. An hour or less. And letting AI do every single step is like ordering a meal kit and then letting a broken robot cook it. Sure, it's done fast, but it tastes like cardboard and the health inspector shuts you down. So you let AI do the grunt work, the research, the images, the rough draft, but the part that makes it feel human, the voice and the final touch, that needs to be you. Now, by the way, if you don't believe me, if you let AI do the voiceover and the editing for you, this is what's gonna happen, right? This is a website that shows all the different channels that get deleted. And you might notice that like 95% of these have one thing in common, and that is that it's pretty obvious that it's AI generated, right? So think about the math. You spend 30 minutes to an hour letting AI crank out 10 videos. That feels like a win. Then right when you're starting to grow, YouTube flags it as AI slop and all that time evaporates. So just don't do it. Trust me on this one. Now here's what I would do instead. Do what this guy does. His name is Daniel Barada and his whole method is dead simple. He has AI write a Google Doc and then he just reads the document on camera. And from doing that, he's pulling in $3.5 thousand a month just from AdSense alone. And he's got a coaching business stacked on top of it where he's making a heck of a lot more money than that. I would bet that he's making at least 7 figures a year. So you can do what he does and create a doc using Claude Code and just remove the dead air and your video is done. That's how simple this can be. And really, that's how easy it is to get started. So here's the deal. 99% of you are just gonna watch this free content and run with it, and that is great. That is exactly why I host my free live trainings. That's exactly why I make these valuable videos for you as well. And on the free live training, I'm gonna go deeper on how to actually do this type of content and turn it into real money. We're gonna be focusing on picking the right niche, actually monetizing your channel, and how to get started step by step. And I'm gonna show you example after example after example of our community members that have been able to do this. So show up live, I'll hand you a free niche validator tool, the Claude and the ChatGPT version, and you can lock in your idea before you waste a single hour. You can also ask me questions live on Zoom. So link to that is in the description in the pinned comment below. Now, for the 1% of you, or maybe even 0.1% of you who want to treat YouTube like a business, like you're very serious about getting started on YouTube and you want to get results as fast as possible, and you want to work with somebody one-on-one to make it happen, right? Maybe you're a beginner who has no idea what to do, but you are an expert. You are somebody who can actually solve other people's problems and give value to the world. Or you've tried YouTube before, you bought the courses and you still haven't gotten any success. Or maybe you've got subscribers, but you're not making money off of them. Or maybe you want to use YouTube to drive leads to your local business, or the business that you're about to start, or an online business that you already started. If that's you, book a call with our team right now. Links in the description in the pinned comment below. On this call, we'll figure out where you are right now, where you want to go. We'll make a plan to get there, and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together or not. But we can only work with a limited amount of people at once. Right now, we're accepting about 3 to 5 people to work with. And historically, we only accept around 18% of people who apply, and it's actually going down. So it's actually a lot less than that now. So only book a call if you're very serious about growing and making money on YouTube, and you want to fast track that process. And also check out this video right here of our client who was able to scale to multiple 7 figures a year with our help.